You don't have to have any requirements to teach in New Jersey, which is also true in Louisiana. And Missouri has some, like, there's a lot of states that have different programs to get teachers in and then get them qualified.
Yeah.
So that they can pass. But this isn't a new thing where like New Jersey's like, no, we just need teachers.
Yeah, I think all of this would be solved if you just pay them enough. Seriously. I mean, if you would pay teachers what they deserve, then maybe you'd get more people in there. But I mean, there's a look, our teachers put up with a lot. I mean,
yeah.
You send your kids, your little rugrats, 8 hours a day to school for someone else to take care of, which they're getting educated, all that kind of stuff. But they put up with a lot, and they do a lot, and they take care of a lot of things. You pay them enough, and maybe that would change. But either way, it saddens me a little bit that they're having to reduce requirements just to get people in.
Well, the way I read the story is we needed to lower the requirements so that people could have access to better paying jobs. That was kind of their reasoning. So, but what I wanted to ask Steve about this, I mean, like, I was reading up on you, and you obviously run several businesses now. So you've probably hired and fired quite a few people. When you've hired people, have you ever asked for their GPA?
What a great question. I never asked for the GPA, but I did ask a math question.
Okay.
And it's a real tradition in our family.
Okay.
And I learned it from my father-in-law. And every time he founded a great retail store in New York City called Gracious Home. It was a hardware store. It's not there anymore. But it was really legendary. There's some really great stories you would appreciate around that. But when he would hire somebody, since it's a retail store and you had to handle the register, he just wanted to make sure people could do simple math.
Sure.
So whenever he was interviewing, just general questions, one would ask hiring anybody, he would always ask everyone, regardless of the position, what is 6 times 9? And if you couldn't answer that, and he liked you, if you couldn't answer that, you weren't going to work the register.
Well, sure, that's fair.
And maybe you weren't going to do receiving.
Right.
But deliveries or whatever, so, but no, we never asked what the GPA was. And we never checked, people with great resumes or graduated these schools. I didn't care. Really, more important was their life and work experience.
So,
wait, Craig, what's 6 times 9?
I don't math. My wife does the math.
It's 54. Okay, keep going. It's 54, but keep going.
Yeah. The reason I ask, there's a lot of entrepreneurs and business people that listen to this show because I mean that's a lot of our guests, and I know like. There's a reason you don't ask that because you don't find it relevant to what you're doing in your business, I'd imagine, or you haven't found it to be relevant.
Well, I never had the highest. I understood what school was, what college was, but it didn't transfer. It was it's an accomplishment that those who graduate and get a degree at any level can, have that accomplishment and what comes with it, right? But as far as what we're doing in any job in any business, it's not that important. Like you said, you can be, you can not go to college and be brilliant, or you can come out of school. And especially today, my opinion of the universities today is, as it was, I didn't want my kids to go to college anyway. And my wife was always upset with that. I wanted them to come to work with us.
Sure, yeah.
And start learning real life, They my wife won and they all went to school. But the universities today are horrible, in my opinion, for what they've been, doing to what their agenda has been with their students and I would say the country at large, so.
I don't disagree with that at all.
I mean, it's one of those deals where what we've found to be true is that if you are a person who likes to learn, you can do anything. I mean, really, because most jobs that you go to, they're going to train you to do what they want you to do, how they want you to do it. It does not matter what you knew previously, I
had a problem with an amp, a receiver, excuse me. And, I'm not, I grew up with Radio Shack, but I didn't, become a, electronic, technician. But I turned on YouTube. I said, I got to be able to fix this.
Yeah.
And I just took off the hood and I fixed it.
Oh, really?
I learned, what the problem was right on YouTube.
Figured it out.
So, you really can learn easy.
Yeah.
anything you want to do today in greater detail, and depth than you could ever before.
Well, there's a reason they call it YouTube University. And honestly, like more people go to learn there than they and probably learn better things than they do going to a university.
Yeah, because they're learning. Even listening to you guys, people learn. They should trust you more than they might trust. Certainly a commercial on TV or
anybody on HGTV. Honestly,
well, I don't want to bet. We're
going to take those guys down.
I shouldn't say that. I shouldn't say anyone on TV, right? But I don't know. There's we're changing who we trust in our culture. Who the authorities are.
Yeah,
and so folks like yourself are becoming more trusted authorities than your traditional, or whatever promotions that are happening.
Well, I mean, if we learned anything, if we learned nothing else from this last election cycle, that is absolutely true. Like the dynamics of authority in media have dramatically shifted.
Thank God.
Oh yeah, and like these institutions that have been up for years that have been controlling the narrative, and you can think that it's a good narrative or a bad narrative, but they've been controlling the narrative.
I don't see how you can think it's a good narrative.
So
it doesn't matter where you fall, politically. I don't understand certain things that have been happening for the last 4 years.
Yeah.
So or however many. So I don't know. That's become a thing